The Zelda timeline is one of the things I dread the most when it comes to making Zelda theories. I mean, the thing is absolutely confusing at times. You've got civil wars, imprisoning wars, timeline splits, worlds getting flooded, lands getting invaded, and then there is Breath of the Wild, which don't even get me started on. It's just confusing sometimes, but I don't ignore it as it is very important when it comes to these theories. Within this complex timeline of events comes many mysteries involving lost parts of history, one of which includes my all-time favourite video game, Twilight Princess. The mystery being, what happened to the Sheikah tribe? We know the Shadowfolk Sheikah were on the brink of extinction prior to Ocarina of Time during the Hyrulean Civil War, but just managed to survive as we do see them during the events of Ocarina of Time, as Kakariko Village opened up to the public, previously being exclusive to the Sheikah. You would imagine that after Ocarina of Time, the Sheikah got back on the rise, as we do see them later down the timeline during the events of Breath of the Wild, meaning they did rise back up to power and continued to serve the royal family. But what happened to them during the events of Twilight Princess, a game that takes place not long after Ocarina of Time? They just seem to disappear in this game. A game that takes place not long after Ocarina of Time. That is exactly what we will be investigating today. Be sure to go grab yourself a snack or drink, and show me said snack or drink to get featured right here, and let's dive into the mystery of the disappearance of the Sheikah in Twilight Princess. To begin this investigation, we should begin by searching for any hints, remains, or signs of the Sheikah found in Twilight Princess. We know there are no confirmed Sheikah people in the game, but there might be a few leads to go off. Our first hint can be found in the northeast of Hyrule, on the outskirts of the Elden region. Here, we can find the Hidden Village, and its only inhabitant, Impa. An old abandoned village that has been for the most part taken over by monsters, but still holds one welcome resident. Impa, an elderly woman who plays a crucial role in restoring Ilia's memory late in the game, and mentions that the village itself holds multiple mysteries, which we will get into shortly. But the fact that an elderly woman has stayed here all alone, even after it was invaded by monsters, she insists on staying in her home at the back of the village, that is very strange. Whilst not visually looking like the nicest place, the Hidden Village is hinted at being the old Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time. The first indication of this comes when we talk to Impa following the clearing of the monsters. She tells Link that, "My name comes from the Great One who built this village so long ago." Looking at her name, it is only one letter from Impa, the name given to the most highly regarded Sheikah and protector of Princess Zelda, as seen in Skyward Sword and Ocarina of Time. Impa is no ordinary name given out. It's in the same vein as Zelda being the traditional name for the daughter of the king and queen. Impa is a clear reference to Impa, and what's interesting is Impa is actually believed to have built Kakariko Village, so there is a chance Impa is a many greats, descendant of the Impa, the original, with the name changing over time. But how does the Hidden Village come into this? Well, you see, as Impa's hinted at already, the Hidden Village is the original Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time, and whilst it's not officially confirmed, there are more facts to back it up. When Link speaks to Gorgoron whilst working their way into the Hidden Village as it's initially blocked by boulders, he tells Link that the village belonged to the tribe that protected the Hylian royal family long ago. They worked in secret, so they lived in a lonely, forgotten place, but I heard that tribe dwindled in the prolonged wars. We can take two key points from that. Firstly, he confirms that the Hidden Village is the same village that belonged to the tribe that protected the royal family, referring to the Sheikah. And secondly, he heard the tribe dwindled in the prolonged wars, which is referring to the civil wars prior to Ocarina of Time. But we know from Ocarina of Time that the Sheikah did manage to survive. If that's not enough evidence for you, the Hidden Village is also known as the Bygone Village, the definition of bygone meaning belonging to an earlier time. I'd say that's more than enough evidence to confirm this as the old Kakariko Village, meaning the current Kakariko Village we see in Twilight Princess is a second iteration of the village, completely separate from the first, which would explain the lack of Sheikah remains in the one we see. Within the energetic and lively castle town, we can explore some of the buildings, such as Telma's bar, the medical clinic, and for this hint, Fanadi's palace. The location we can meet the fortune teller, Madame Fanadi. Her purpose is to tell Link his fortune in either his career or love for the price of 10 rupees. Career fortunes tell Link what he should be doing to progress in the story, and love fortunes tell Link the location of an undiscovered heart piece. A neat little mechanic, but Madame Fanadi herself is a very interesting character. We can see on her forehead that she has a Sheikah eye. Now, we know the Sheikah are known for their magical and unknown abilities that only they seem to possess. There isn't much of an explanation here, but my guess is that Madame Fanadi is also a descendant of the Sheikah, perhaps a relative of Impa's, but like the previous hint, we will return to this. Our third and final hint comes rather early in the game when we meet Princess Zelda. Normally we meet the princess in beautiful and peaceful environments, but this time around we meet her as Wolf Link locked away in one of the towers of Hyrule Castle. She is wearing a dark black cloak whilst looking out the window. Aside from being one of the coolest and kind of edgy Princess Zeldas, her cloak has an interesting design on it, the Sheikah eye. It's very easy to miss as it's on the back of her cloak, but it's definitely there, and that is 100% a Sheikah eye. Now, there could be a few different reasons for this. It could even be as simple as this has been in her possession or the royal family's possession since the era of time, as that wasn't that long ago for the era of Twilight. We know this because we learned that prior to the events of Twilight Princess, Ganondorf was sentenced to execution following the events of Ocarina of Time. There is believed to only be around 100 years between the two games, but I personally think there's probably only around 20 or 30. I don't really know. But in terms of the Zelda series, that is not long at all. So that's our 4 main hints to go off. Impa's and the Hidden Village, Madame Fanadi, and Princess Zelda's Sheikah clothing. We now need to piece these hints together and link them to the events following Ocarina of Time, and figure out what happened to the Sheikah during what would have been a peaceful time, following the defeat of Ganondorf and reset of Hyrule. Going back to the lonely hidden village, we can learn a little more about the history of the once Kakariko village from Impa's. When Link talks to her after defeating the monsters outside, she says to Link that this village was once the secret home of a proud tribe who served the royal family, but fell into decline and became infested with dangerous beasts. It's become an awful place. Implying that sometime after the events of Ocarina of Time, likely a good 20 or 30 years plus afterwards, as Impa's is likely 2 generations or more after Impa's seen in Ocarina of Time, Kakariko village fell into decline and was invaded by monsters. But that shouldn't make sense as the Sheikah of Kakariko village work closely alongside the royal family. Surely the royal family wouldn't allow them to fall into decline. Unless that was the plan. We know Kakariko village moved at some point between the 2 games. What if, and bear with me as this is a huge what if, the royal family wanted the now bare-bones Sheikah, the royal family wanted to move the elite Sheikah closer to them, so they built somewhere or made room within their own grounds for the Sheikah since they would be a much smaller recovering group at this stage, with Impa leading the ship. Over time, Kakariko village was neglected due to the lack of Sheikah presence and it just fell into decline. That's one idea, but there is another that could be more likely. What could have happened is that following the ending of Ocarina of Time when things went back to normal, the currently recovering Sheikah tribe only consisting of Impa and at most 1 or 2 others, regardless of how hard they tried, the tribe just couldn't recover in this timeline split to come, the child timeline. That's why they do not appear in this timeline. They didn't manage to recover. But what about Impa's? Well, she tells us another interesting fact in Twilight Princess. She tells Link, by royal order, I can't leave this place until a certain person arrives. Interesting. This brings up 2 main questions. 1, how long has Impa been here? And 2, who is the certain person? To answer the first question, I can't. Well, we can say she probably has been here for a long time, at least dating back to when the monsters first invaded the settlement, or potentially even further back to when the settlement was becoming uninhabited, until it was just Impa's. Regardless of the neglect, she stayed. She stayed even when the village she calls home got invaded by ruthless monsters. As for the second question, who is this certain person she is waiting for? Well, I think you might find the answer very interesting. Impa is all alone in the forgotten hidden village, waiting for a certain someone linked to her duties as a member of the Sheikah tribe, someone who must be affiliated with the royal family. This person, this certain someone, is none other than Princess Zelda. It all adds up. See, early on in the story of Twilight Princess, Hyrule Castle is invaded by Zan. Hyrule Castle and Princess Zelda are seized, beginning his infectious invasion over the Kingdom of Hyrule. Princess Zelda is unable to reach Impa in the form of mail, messenger, or personal. She's trapped within the Twilight seized Hyrule Castle. And before you ask why hadn't Zelda visited Impa prior to the invasion, when she would have been free to visit and inform her she is free to leave due to fulfilling her service, but as we see in the game, the only path to the hidden village has been blocked up and caved in with massive rocks, hence why Gorgoron is working his way into the village, but by the time he was finished, it was too little too late. Zelda was already locked under Zan's invasion, leaving Impa to hold off even longer. I am proposing that in this timeline split following the events of Ocarina of Time, the Sheikah failed to progress and re-establish themselves, resulting in a slow, long decline, with only a few members carrying the torch. All the way to the events of Twilight Princess, where the only true Sheikah left is Impa, still sticking true to her duty to serve the royal family, waiting on Princess Zelda's orders to be able to leave. As for Madame Finati, I believe she stems from a Sheikah background, but grew up outside of Kakariko Village and started her own business using her unique Sheikah abilities that are exclusive to her, something nobody in Castletown has. And the reason Zelda's cloak has the Sheikah emblem on it is because she may be the only one left with a connection to the Sheikah, as it's tradition for the royal family and Sheikah to work together. And considering the Sheikah's decline, it possibly could have just been held on as a tradition that they didn't want to let go, but soon will have to because of the decline of the Sheikah. So to answer the question of what happened to the Sheikah in Twilight Princess, I think I can safely say that between the events of Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess, the tribe attempted to re-establish themselves, but struggled for years and years, and it's got to the point where there is only one Sheikah left. An elderly lady, standing true to her home, her duty, and loyalty to Princess Zelda, Impa. Thanks a ton for checking out this video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Zelda content. What do you think happened to the mysterious shadow folk known as the Sheikah between Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess? This video is just my theory, but let me know what you think or if you agree with me down below in the comments. I look forward to reading and replying to all of your comments. Huge thanks to all of my Patreon supporters for your incredibly generous support to the channel. It means the world to me and really helps me to keep making these videos as often as possible. If you would like to become one of my patrons and get video previews, your name featured at the end of all of my videos and more, then be sure to check out my Patreon page through the card in the top right or link in the description. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.